Billionaire CEO woman sat at the wrong table with a black single dad. An unexpected love began. Blair Thornton was late, again. The CEO of Thornton Global Consulting had exactly 12 minutes before her lunch meeting with potential investors from Singapore, and she was still 3 blocks from Marcello's, the upscale Italian restaurant in downtown Seattle, where power lunches happened and deals worth millions were sealed over risotto. Her assistant, Gemma Rivera, had texted the table number. Table 14, back corner, private. Blair rushed through the restaurant door, her blonde hair still damp from the rain, her Armani suit perfectly tailored, but her composure fraying. She spotted table 14 in the back corner, a man already seated, facing away from her. Thank God. He'd arrived first. She slid into the seat across from him without looking up, immediately diving into her pitch. I apologize for being late. Traffic was impossible and my previous meeting ran over. I've reviewed your portfolio extensively, and I think we can structure an investment that benefits both parties. She finally looked up and froze. The man across from her was not her Singaporean investor. He was black, maybe early 30s, wearing a simple button-down shirt and jeans, not the expensive suit she'd expected. And beside him, in a booster seat, was a little girl, maybe 4 years old, with natural curls pulled into 2 puffs, wearing a purple dress and holding a stuffed unicorn. The man stared at her with confused amusement. I think you have the wrong table. Blair's face flamed red. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I thought... She glanced around frantically. Another table, also numbered 14, was across the room. Private dining area versus main floor. She'd rushed to the wrong section entirely. You thought I was your business lunch. The man's tone wasn't accusing, just observant. His voice was deep, warm, with a hint of laughter beneath. Yes, I'm so sorry, I'll just... Blair started to stand, but the little girl spoke up, her voice small and sweet. Are you a princess? You have princess hair. Blair looked at the child, whose big brown eyes stared at her blonde hair with wonder, and something in her chest softened. She'd spent the last decade building an empire, attending board meetings, crushing competitors. When was the last time someone called her a princess? I'm not a princess, sweetheart, but thank you. That's very kind. I'm Zara. This is my daddy, Trenton. We're having a special lunch because I was brave at the dentist. Trenton, the father, smiled at his daughter with such pure affection that Blair felt it like a physical warmth. That's right, baby girl. Special lunch for special girls. Well, congratulations on being brave, Zara, Blair said, finding herself reluctant to leave despite needing to find her actual meeting. You can sit with us, Zara offered generously. Daddy always says there's room at the table for everyone. Blair laughed despite herself. That's very sweet, but I have a meeting. Your meeting is 20 minutes away, Trenton said, glancing at his watch. Your assistant just texted you. I heard your phone buzz. Take a breath. Sit for a minute. He was right. She could feel her phone vibrating in her purse with what was probably Gemma's message that the investors were running late. Against every professional instinct, Blair sat back down. Okay, just for a minute. Trenton extended his hand. Trenton Hayes, single dad, elementary school teacher, and current champion of brave dentist visits. She shook his hand. His grip was warm, calloused, real in a way the limp handshakes of boardroom executives weren't. Blair Thornton, CEO, chronic workaholic, and apparently someone who can't read table numbers correctly. Everyone makes mistakes, Trenton said easily. Question is, what do you do with them? It was a simple statement, but something about it felt profound. Blair had spent her career avoiding mistakes, covering them up, never showing weakness. This man treated her mistake like it was just human. I usually pretend they didn't happen and move forward aggressively, she admitted. That sounds exhausting. It is. Zara was coloring on a kid's menu, periodically showing Blair her work. This is you with princess hair. The drawing was just crayon scribbles, but Blair found herself charmed. It's beautiful. You're very talented. Thank you. Daddy says I'm going to be an artist when I grow up. Or a doctor, Trenton added. Or a teacher. Or whatever you want, baby girl. Sky's the limit. A waiter appeared, clearly confused. Miss Thornton, your party is in the private room. Table 14 in the Piedmont section. Reality crashed back. Right, thank you. She stood, grabbing her briefcase. It was nice meeting you both. Zara, keep being brave. Bye, princess. Zara waved enthusiastically. As Blair walked away toward her actual meeting, she glanced back once. Trenton was helping Zara cut her pasta, talking to her with complete attention, and something in Blair's chest ached. She'd just turned 35 last week, had everything professionally, and absolutely nothing personally. That man had something she'd never had, contentment that wasn't tied to success. And against all logic, she wanted to know more about him. Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. Blair couldn't stop thinking about the wrong table incident. 3 days later, she found herself distracted during a board meeting, remembering Zara's smile and Trenton's easy warmth. Her business partner, Lucas Hammond, a sharp-dressed man in his 40s who'd been with her since the startup days, noticed. You've checked your phone 6 times in 20 minutes. What's going on? Nothing, just distracted. You're never distracted. You once ran a meeting with a kidney stone. What happened? Blair shook her head. It was ridiculous. She didn't even know Trenton's last name. Well, Hayes, he'd said. But still, they'd had a 5-minute conversation at the wrong table. It meant nothing, except it had felt like something. That Saturday, Blair did something completely out of character. She went to a farmer's market. Thornton Global was headquartered in Seattle, but Blair rarely engaged with the city beyond business districts and upscale restaurants. The Pike Place market was for tourists and locals with time, neither of which described her. But Gemma had mentioned it during their weekly planning session. You need hobbies, Blair. Life outside work. Go to a market. Buy some flowers. Pretend to be human. So here she was, feeling awkward in jeans and a casual sweater, dressed down but still obviously expensive, wandering through stalls of organic produce and handmade crafts. Princess lady, the delighted shout made Blair turn. Zara was running toward her, Trenton following behind with a canvas bag full of vegetables. Zara, slow down, Trenton called, then stopped when he saw Blair. Oh, hi, the wrong table woman. Blair laughed despite herself. That's me, Blair. And you're Trenton, and this is Zara, who's clearly happy to see me. You came to the market. Zara bounced excitedly. Do you like strawberries? We got strawberries. And carrots. Daddy says carrots make you strong like superheroes. Carrots are very important, Blair agreed seriously. Trenton caught up, looking slightly embarrassed. Sorry, she's enthusiastic about everything. It's refreshing. Blair meant it. Everyone in her world was jaded, calculated. Zara's genuine joy was like sunlight. What brings you to Pike Place? Trenton asked. Doesn't seem like your usual scene. My assistant insisted I needed hobbies. Apparently, working 80-hour weeks isn't healthy. Blair made a face. I'm failing at casual Saturday. Want a tour? The offer came easily from Trenton. Zara and I come here every weekend. We know all the best stalls. Blair should say no. She had work to do, always had work to do. But something about Trenton's openness, Zara's excitement, the possibility of an afternoon that wasn't about profit margins. I'd love that. Over the next 2 hours, Trenton showed her the market through a local's eyes. The flower vendor who gave Zara a free daisy every week. The coffee stand that roasted. Beans on site. The bookstore with a section dedicated to children's literature where Zara could sit and read. You really love this city, Blair observed as they watched Zara examine a display of handmade dolls. Born and raised here. Seattle's in my blood. Trenton smiled. What about you? Where's home? Everywhere and nowhere. I grew up in Connecticut, went to school in Boston, worked in New York before starting my company here. But I've never felt rooted anywhere. That sounds lonely. The observation was gentle, not pitying, and Blair felt her defenses crack slightly. It is. Sometimes. Zara returned with a doll, looking at Trenton hopefully. He checked the price tag. and Blair saw him calculate in his head, weighing his daughter's desire against his budget. "It's beautiful, baby girl. Maybe for your birthday?" Zara's face fell, but she nodded bravely. "Okay, Daddy." Blair made a decision. "Zara, would you let me buy that for you? As a thank you gift for calling me a princess?" That made my whole week better. Trenton stiffened. "You don't have to. I want to. Please, let me." There was tension in Trenton's expression, pride warring with his daughter's happiness. Finally, he nodded. "Thank you. That's very generous." Blair bought the doll, and Zara hugged it like it was treasure. "Thank you, Princess Blair." "You're welcome, sweetheart." As they walked toward the exit, Trenton said quietly, "I'm not a charity case. I make enough to take care of my daughter. I never thought you were. I just wanted to make her happy. Is that okay?" He studied her for a long moment. Then his expression softened. "Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. Can I give you my number?" The words came out before Blair could overthink them. "In case you want to, I don't know, get coffee? Continue this tour of being human?" Trenton smiled, a real smile that reached his eyes. "Yeah, I'd like that." They exchanged numbers, and as Blair walked to her car, she realized she was smiling too. For the first time in years, she was excited about something that had nothing to do with business. Their first official coffee date was Tuesday morning at a small cafe in Capitol Hill. Trenton's suggestion, far from Blair's usual haunts. Blair arrived in her work clothes, pencil skirt, silk blouse, heels, feeling overdressed. Trenton wore khakis and a sweater, looking comfortable and approachable. "Sorry, I came straight from a meeting," Blair said, sliding into the booth. "You look great. Also terrifying. I feel like you're about to fire me." She laughed. "I promise I'm not. I'm just not good at casual." "I noticed. Want a lesson?" "Please." Over coffee, they talked. Really talked. Trenton told her about his life, growing up in Rainier Valley, the predominantly black neighborhood where he still lived. His parents had been hardworking, his father a bus driver, his mother a nurse. They'd instilled in him the value of education, community, and showing up for people. He'd become a third-grade teacher at Maple Elementary, where 80% of students qualified for free lunch. It didn't pay well, but it mattered. "Zara's mom?" Blair asked carefully. Trenton's expression clouded. "Lauren, we dated in college, got pregnant, tried to make it work. She wanted different things, career in New York, fast life, ambition. I wanted stability for Zara. We split when Zara was 1. Lauren sees her twice a year, sends money, but..." He shrugged. "She's not really a mom. More like a distant aunt who calls on birthdays. That must be hard for both of you." "It is. But Zara has me, my sister Nina, my mom. She's loved. That's what matters." Blair admired his perspective. No bitterness, just acceptance and focus on his daughter. "What about you?" Trenton asked. "How does someone become a billionaire CEO by 35? Hard work, ruthlessness, and zero personal life." Blair smiled wryly. "I started Thornton Global in my apartment 9 years ago. Consulting firm focused on digital transformation for Fortune 500 companies. We grew fast, went public. Now we're valued at $2.3 billion. That's impressive. It's lonely. Success looks great on paper, but..." She hesitated, vulnerable. "I realized at the farmer's market that I don't know how to be a person outside of work. I don't have hobbies or friends, really. Just colleagues and competitors." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because you asked, and because you seem like someone who wouldn't judge." Trenton reached across the table, his hand covering hers. The gesture was simple, but sent warmth through her entire body. "Blair, success is great, but it's not the same as fulfillment. You can have both, but you have to want both. I'm starting to realize that." Their coffee date stretched to lunch, then a walk through Volunteer Park. Trenton told her about his students, the challenges of teaching in underfunded schools, his dreams of eventually opening a community center for kids. Blair found herself sharing too. Her difficult relationship with her parents, who'd valued money over connection, her workaholism that had cost her every relationship, her fear that she'd wake up at 50 and realize she'd built an empire, but missed a life. "You're not missing it," Trenton said as they sat on a bench overlooking the city. "You're just starting to see it differently. That's growth." Blair looked at him. This man who had so little compared to her wealth, but seemed infinitely richer in the things that mattered. "How are you so wise?" "I'm not. I just pay attention." And I've learned that people are more important than things. Connection is more valuable than status. Teach me that. Deal. When they parted ways, Trenton kissed her cheek, gentle, respectful, full of promise. Blair drove back to her office, touched her cheek where his lips had been, and realized she was in trouble. She was falling for a man who lived in a completely different world. A farfar, black single dad who taught elementary school in a modest neighborhood. She was a white billionaire CEO who'd built walls around her heart for a decade. This was complicated. This was impossible. This was exactly what she needed. Over the next month, Blair and Trenton navigated the delicate dance of dating across worlds. Blair met Trenton's family at a Sunday dinner in his modest two-bedroom house in Rainier Valley. His mother, Gloria Hayes, a warm woman in her 60s, with graying hair and a fierce hug, welcomed Blair cautiously. "So, you're the woman Trenton's been talking about, the CEO." "That's me, though I'm trying to be more than just that." Gloria studied her. "My son is a good man. He works hard, takes care of his daughter, gives everything to his community. He doesn't need someone playing games." The warning was clear. Blair met her eyes directly. "I'm not playing games, Mrs. Hayes. I genuinely care about your son and Zara. I know our worlds are different. Honey, different worlds is putting it mildly. You're a white billionaire. My son is a black teacher in a neighborhood where people struggle to pay rent. That's not just different. It's opposite. I know, and I'm learning every day what that means, but I'm not going anywhere." Nina, Trenton's sister, a nurse practitioner with natural hair and a no-nonsense attitude, interrupted. "Mom, give her a chance. She sat through Zara's entire Frozen sing-along without flinching. That's dedication." The dinner was both wonderful and challenging. Gloria eventually warmed up, sharing stories about Trenton's childhood. Nina became an ally, offering Blair insights into navigating the cultural gaps. But Blair also felt the weight of being watched, assessed, judged, not maliciously, but protectively. This family had been hurt before, by Lauren abandoning Zara, by a system that undervalued them, by a world that saw their blackness before their humanity. Blair wanted to prove she was different, but proving it meant showing up, consistently, without expectation of reward. The real test came when Blair invited Trenton to a company gala. "Are you sure?" Trenton asked when she extended the invitation. "That's your world. Tech billionaires and venture capitalists. I'm a teacher who shops at Target. You're my boyfriend. That's all that matters." But walking into the Four Seasons ballroom together, Blair felt every eye turned toward them. A white woman in a designer gown with a black man in a rented tux. The stares were immediate, the whispers barely concealed. Lucas, her business partner, pulled her aside during cocktail hour. "Blair, is that wise? Bringing him here? His name is Trenton. And yes, it's wise. He's important to me. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. Optics matter. Investors are already questioning your focus since you've been taking more time off. Showing up with a boyfriend who's clearly not from our world raises questions. Questions like what? Like whether you're serious about the business. Like whether this is a phase. Like whether—" Lucas lowered his voice. "Whether you're thinking clearly or just having some kind of midlife crisis, slumming it with—" "Careful." Blair's voice went cold. "Very careful how you finish that sentence." Lucas backed off, but the damage was done. Throughout the evening, Blair watched people's reactions to Trenton. Some were polite but distant. Others were openly judgmental. A few were warm, but those were rare. Trenton handled it with grace that made Blair's heart ache. He was polite, articulate, comfortable in his own skin, even when others were uncomfortable with his presence. But in the car afterward, his mask slipped. "That was brutal. I'm sorry. I didn't think—" "You didn't think people would judge me. Blair, I'm a black man in a white billionaire's world. Of course they judged me. The question is whether you can handle being with someone they judge." "I can. I will." "Can you?" "Because I saw how your business partner looked at me, like I was a problem you brought to his gala, and I saw you hesitate before defending me." "I didn't hesitate." "You did, just for a second. And Blair, I get it. Your world has rules, expectations, but I can't be with someone who's ashamed of me, even a little bit." "I'm not ashamed." "Then prove it. Not at private dinners or coffee dates. Prove it in your world, where it costs you something. The challenge hung between them as Blair drove him home, and she realized he was right. Loving Trenton in private was easy. Loving him publicly, in a world that would judge them both harshly, was the real test. And she wasn't sure she was ready. The fallout from the gala was swift. Blair's assistant Gemma delivered the news during their Monday morning briefing. 3 investors wanted meetings to discuss concerns about company direction. The board wants a quarterly review moved up. And there are articles. What kind of articles? Gemma hesitated, then pulled up her tablet. A gossip website featured photos of Blair and Trenton at the gala with the headline, "Tech Billionaire Blair Thornton's New Romance. Charity Case or True Love?" The article was vicious. It questioned Trenton's motives, suggested Blair was having a crisis, implied their relationship was inappropriate given their vastly different stations in life. The comments were worse. Racist, classist, disgusting. Blair felt sick, not because of what they said about her, but because Trenton would see this, would know that dating her came with public humiliation. She called him immediately. "Trenton, I'm so sorry. There's an article. I saw it. My principal called this morning. Apparently some parents are concerned that I'm distracted by my relationship with a billionaire. Like I can't teach and date at the same time. That's ridiculous. Is it? Blair, your world is affecting mine now. My credibility as a teacher, my reputation in my community. People are talking about whether I'm with you for money, whether I'm teaching our kids the right values by dating someone so wealthy. What do you want me to do? End this?" Silence. "Trenton, I don't know. I love what we have. I love how you are with Zara, how you're trying to understand my world. But I didn't sign up for public scrutiny. For my daughter seeing articles about her dad being a gold digger, for my community questioning my integrity. Then we fight. Together. We show them we're real. How? By continuing to attend your galas where people look at me like I don't belong? By you coming to my neighborhood where people will say you're slumming? There's no winning here, Blair." The conversation ended without resolution, and Blair went to work feeling hollowed out. In a board meeting that afternoon, her fears materialized. One of her board members, Richard Caldwell, a venture capitalist in his 60s with old money and older prejudices, addressed her directly. "Blair, we need to discuss your recent personal choices. They're affecting perception of the company. My personal life is not the board's concern. It is when it affects stock price. Since photos of you with that teacher circulated, we've had inquiries from investors questioning your judgment, your focus, whether personal drama will impact business decisions. There's no drama. I'm dating someone. People date. People date within their circles," Richard said bluntly. "You're dating a black man from a working-class background. Whether we like it or not, that sends a message about priorities, about values." Lucas interrupted, surprisingly defensive. "Richard, that's crossing a line. Blair's relationship isn't relevant to company performance, isn't it? She's been taking time off, missing meetings, distracted, all since this relationship started. I'm simply stating what other board members are thinking." Blair stood, her hands shaking with rage. "What you're stating is racist and classist and completely inappropriate. My relationship with Trenton Hayes has nothing to do with my ability to run this company. And if any board member has a problem with who I date based on race or class, you're welcome to resign." The room went silent. "Furthermore," Blair continued, her voice steel, "Trenton is one of the most principled, dedicated, intelligent men I've ever met. He teaches children who've been failed by a system that values profit over people. He's raising a daughter with more grace than most of you have shown in this meeting. And he's with me despite the fact that my world treats him like he's less than, because he doesn't have $1 billion net worth." She grabbed her things. Meeting adjourned. "Richard, I'll expect your resignation letter by end of day. The rest of you, decide if you're on this board to build something meaningful or to police my personal life." Blair walked out, adrenaline pumping, and called Trenton. "I just defended you to my board, forced a member to resign, told them all exactly what I think of their prejudice. Blair, I should have done it at the gala. I should have shut down every judgmental comment the second I heard it. I'm sorry I hesitated, even for a moment, but I'm not hesitating anymore." Trenton was quiet then. "Come to my house. Tonight, there's someone I want you to meet properly. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments if you're loving it. Type 1, if not type 0. We want to know what you think. That evening, Blair drove to Rainier Valley, wearing jeans and a sweater. No designer labels, no armor, just herself. Trenton answered the door with Zara on his hip. Hey, come in. The house was modest but warm. Family photos on every surface, Zara's artwork covering the refrigerator, a lived-in quality that Blair's sterile penthouse lacked. Gloria was there, along with Nina and her husband Marcus Williams, a firefighter with an easy smile. They were having dinner. Nothing fancy, just spaghetti and garlic bread. And they made room for Blair like she belonged. Over dinner, Gloria asked direct questions. So you told your board off? About Trenton? I did. One of them resigned. Others are probably planning a coup, but yes, I defended him. Us. Why? Blair met Gloria's eyes. Because I love your son. Because what we have is real. And because I'm tired of living in a world where money matters more than character. Pretty words. But do you understand what loving him costs? For him, not just you. I'm learning. Nina jumped in. Blair, Mom's not trying to be harsh, but Trenton's already sacrificed a lot. His ex left because she wanted more than he could give financially. He's raised Zara alone, worked 2 jobs to make ends meet, dealt with people assuming he's not good enough because he teaches instead of climbs corporate ladders. Dating you adds another layer. People questioning his motives, his integrity, whether he's using you. I know he's not. We know that. But the world doesn't, and that weighs on him. Nina looked at her brother with affection. He's a proud man. Having people think he's with you for money, that kills him. Trenton spoke up. I can speak for myself. But yeah, Nina's right. Blair, I love you. But I need to know this is sustainable. That we're not just Romeo and Juliet, doomed by circumstances. I need to know we can build something real. Blair reached for his hand. Then let's build it. Not in my world or yours, but somewhere in between. A life that's ours. What does that look like? I don't know yet. But I'm willing to figure it out. Are you? Zara, who'd been quietly coloring, suddenly spoke up. Daddy, does Blair make you happy? Trenton smiled. Yes, baby girl, she does. Then she should stay. Happy is important. The simple wisdom from a 4-year-old broke the tension, and everyone laughed. After dinner, Trenton walked Blair to her car. Thank you for coming, for meeting them halfway. Thank you for giving me another chance. Blair, I need you to understand something. Loving me means dealing with racism that isn't abstract. It's real, daily, exhausting. People will question us constantly. Will assume the worst. Will judge you for dating down and me for dating up. Are you ready for that? Blair thought about her board meeting, the gossip articles, the stares at the gala. I won't pretend it's easy. But yes, I'm ready. Because losing you is worse than facing judgment. He kissed her then, deep, thorough, full of promise and challenge. Okay. Let's try this. Really try. Over the next 2 months, they built their life together carefully. Blair started working fewer hours, showing up at Zara's school events, learning to cook dinner instead of ordering takeout. Trenton came to business functions, but set boundaries about what he would and wouldn't tolerate. They fought sometimes, about money, about class differences, about the way the world saw them. But they also laughed, built traditions, and created a space where they could be themselves. Blair met Trenton's friends, other teachers, community organizers, parents from Zara's school. She listened to their experiences with underfunded schools, systemic racism, economic struggle. Her perspective shifted fundamentally. Trenton met Blair's colleagues who weren't terrible. Lucas, despite his initial skepticism, became an ally. Gemma adored Trenton and became unofficial auntie to Zara. But the real test came when Blair's parents visited from Connecticut. Catherine and Douglas Thornton were old money, old values, old prejudices. Blair had warned Trenton, but nothing could have prepared him. The dinner at Blair's penthouse was excruciating. So, Trenton, Douglas said, his tone carefully neutral. Blair mentioned you're a teacher. That must be fulfilling. It is. I love working with kids, watching them grow. Of course, though the pay must be modest. How do you manage, especially with a child? The question was designed to humiliate. Trenton handled it with grace. We live within our means. Zara has everything she needs. Catherine looked around Blair's penthouse. The view, the art, the obvious wealth. Blair, dear, have you thought about how this relationship looks to your business associates, to society? Mother, I don't care how it looks. You should. You've worked so hard to build your company. Dating someone so different. It raises questions about judgment. Different how, Mother? Say what you mean. Catherine's lips thinned. You know what I mean. No, I don't. Is it that he's black? That he's not wealthy? That he actually has values beyond accumulating money? Which difference bothers you? Douglas intervened. Blair, we're concerned. That's all. We want you to be with someone appropriate. Someone from your world. Trenton stood. I think I should go. No. Blair stood too. You should stay. They should go. Blair, Catherine started. Mom, Dad, I love Trenton. He's kind, principled, and makes me happier than I've been in years. If you can't accept that, then we have nothing to discuss. I'd rather have him and lose you than have your approval and lose myself. Her parents left in frigid silence. Blair and Trenton stood in the aftermath. I'm sorry, Blair whispered. Don't be. You chose us. That's what matters. But Blair knew she'd just severed ties with her parents. And while she didn't regret it, the loss still hurt. 3 months into their relationship, Trenton shared his dream with Blair. They were at his house, Zara asleep, sitting on his worn couch, drinking wine. I've always wanted to open a community center. A place where kids can go after school, tutoring, arts programs, sports, mentorship. The kids I teach, so many of them have nowhere to go after 3 p.m. Parents working multiple jobs, no money for extracurriculars. They need a safe space. That's beautiful. Have you looked into it? Looked, researched, dreamed. But it costs money. Building lease, staff, equipment, insurance. I've saved $15,000 over the years. I need at least $200,000 to start small. Blair did mental calculations. She could write a check for that amount and not notice. But she remembered his pride, his need to build things himself. What if we made it a business plan? Not a donation, an investment. You build the center, I invest with the understanding that it becomes self-sustaining through grants, donations, community support. You run it. Your vision. I just help launch it. Trenton looked at her warily. Blair, I can't take your money. It's not taking. It's partnering. I invest in businesses I believe in. I believe in you. I believe in this. She pulled out her tablet, already typing. Let me help you draft a proposal. Then we pitch it to my foundation board. Yes, I have a charitable foundation. It's for tax purposes, but also because money should do good. And if they approve, we fund phase 1. Deal? You have a foundation? Don't sound so surprised. Even ruthless CEOs have hearts. Sometimes. Trenton laughed, then pulled her close. You're serious? Completely. Let's build something that matters. Over the next 3 weeks, they worked on the proposal. Trenton brought expertise on what kids needed. Blair brought business strategy. They found a building in Rainier Valley, an old recreation center that had closed due to budget cuts. The foundation board, including Lucas and 2 other executives, reviewed the proposal. This is outside our usual scope, one member said. We typically fund tech education initiatives. This is education, Blair countered, just not in a classroom. These kids need support that schools can't provide due to funding cuts. This center would serve 200+ kids, provide jobs for local residents, and strengthen the community. And your boyfriend runs it? That's not a conflict of interest? Trenton Hayes is the most qualified person to run this. He's a teacher with 10 years' experience in this exact community. His credentials are stronger than anyone we'd hire externally. And yes, he's my boyfriend. Deal with it. The board approved the funding, $250,000 for phase 1. When Blair told Trenton, he cried, actually cried. I can't believe this is happening. Believe it. Your dream is about to be real. They spent the next 4 months renovating the building, hiring staff, developing programs. Nina joined as part-time nurse. Marcus helped with renovations. Gloria organized community volunteers. Blair watched Trenton come alive in a new way. This was his passion, his purpose, and she'd helped make it possible. The grand opening was a community celebration. Hundreds of people showed up. Families, teachers, local politicians, reporters. The coverage was overwhelmingly positive. Tech CEO invests in South Seattle Community Center. Some articles mentioned their relationship. Some were kind, others weren't. But standing beside Trenton as he cut the ribbon, watching Zara run through the new art room with other kids, Blair realized something profound. She'd spent 10 years building a company worth billions, but this center, serving kids who needed it most, built with love and purpose. This felt more valuable than anything she'd achieved. "Thank you," Trenton whispered as they watched the celebration. "Thank you for showing me what matters." That night, lying in bed in his modest house, Blair had been staying over more, her penthouse feeling increasingly empty. Trenton said, "Move in with me." Blair's heart jumped. "What? Not here. This place is too small, but let's find something together. A house, somewhere between your world and mine. A place that's ours. You want to live together? I want to build a life together. With you, with Zara. Is that what you want?" Blair thought about her penthouse. Beautiful, expensive, lonely. Then thought about this house, small, worn, full of love. Yes, that's exactly what I want. Finding a house that bridged their worlds was harder than expected. Blair wanted to buy something outright. Trenton insisted on contributing meaningfully. They compromised on a mortgage. Blair made a large down payment, but Trenton contributed to monthly payments proportional to their income. The house they found was in Seward Park, a diverse neighborhood with good schools, somewhere between Blair's wealthy bubble and Trenton's working-class roots. 3 bedrooms, a yard for Zara, space to grow. Moving in together meant merging lives in practical ways. Blair downsized dramatically, donating expensive furniture that didn't fit. Trenton brought his worn couch, family photos, the pieces that mattered. Zara got her own room, painted purple at her request, filled with books and art supplies. Blair turned the 3rd bedroom into a home office, but struggled to separate work from life. "You're still checking emails at midnight," Trenton observed one night. "Old habits. Blair, you have executives, a management team. You don't have to do everything yourself." "I know, I'm trying." The adjustment was hard. Blair was used to controlling everything. Trenton was used to independence. They bickered about dishes, about screen time for Zara, about how to split household responsibilities. But they also laughed, built traditions, Friday movie nights, Sunday dinners with family, morning coffee together before the chaos started. Zara thrived. She started calling Blair Miss Blair with increasing affection, sometimes just Blair, and once, accidentally, Mama. Blair's heart had nearly stopped. "Is it okay?" Zara asked anxiously. "That I said Mama?" Blair knelt down, eye level. "Sweetheart, it's more than okay. I'd be honored if you wanted to call me that. But you're not my real mom. She's in New York. No, I'm not your birth mom. But I love you like you're mine. If you want to call me Mama, I'd love that. If you want to call me Blair, that's okay too. Whatever feels right to you." Zara thought seriously, then hugged her. "Mama Blair. Because you're my mama too now." Trenton watched from the doorway, his eyes wet, and later told Blair, "You're exactly what she needed, what we both needed." The community center flourished. They served 150 kids in the first 3 months, with waiting lists for programs. Local news featured Trenton as teacher-turned-community leader. Blair stayed in the background, content to support rather than lead. But not everyone was happy about their success. Lauren, Zara's birth mother, appeared unexpectedly. She'd seen the news coverage, the photos of Trenton and Blair together, Zara thriving. She showed up at the house unannounced, impeccably dressed, cold eyes assessing everything. "So you're the billionaire," Lauren said to Blair, "the one playing house with my daughter." "I'm Blair, and I'm not playing. I love Zara." "How convenient. Did Trenton tell you I offered him money, years ago, to make co-parenting easier?" He refused, too proud. But apparently, white billionaire money is acceptable. Trenton intervened. "Lauren, what do you want?" "I want to increase my time with Zara. I have stability now, a good job, an apartment. I can take her some weekends, holidays. You haven't seen her consistently in 3 years. You can't just walk back in. I'm her mother. Legally, I have rights. And with your new situation, living with someone Zara barely knows, in a new house, new neighborhood, I could argue that stability is disrupted, that maybe I should have primary custody." The threat was clear. Blair felt rage building, but stayed quiet. Trenton's voice was steel. "Lauren, you abandoned her. You chose career over your daughter repeatedly. You don't get to swoop in now because you're jealous or guilty or whatever this is. I'm not abandoning her. I'm exercising my rights. Expect a call from my lawyer." After Lauren left, Trenton was shaking. "She can't actually get custody, right? She has no grounds. She has parental rights," Blair said carefully. And a good lawyer could argue that sudden changes in Zara's life, new home, new parental figure, warrant reevaluation of custody arrangements. "This is because of you. Because we're together." She sees the news coverage, sees Zara happy, and suddenly wants back in. Maybe. Or maybe she's genuinely trying to be a better mom. "You're defending her." "I'm being realistic. If she wants more time with Zara, the courts might grant it. We need to prepare for that possibility." Trenton sat heavily on the couch. "I can't lose her. Zara is my everything." "You won't. We'll fight. Together." But Blair knew this was about to get complicated. And she wondered if loving Trenton and Zara meant being willing to step back if a judge decided they'd be better off without her disruptive influence. Lauren filed for modified custody 2 weeks later. Her lawyer argued that Zara's living situation had changed substantially, that a new parental figure had been introduced rapidly, and that Lauren deserved more parenting time. The court ordered a home study. A social worker would evaluate both homes, interview Zara, and make recommendations. The social worker, Angela Brooks, a black woman in her 40s with kind but assessing eyes, visited their Seward Park house on a Tuesday. She observed Blair helping Zara with homework, Trenton making dinner, their family dynamic. She toured Zara's room, the house, asked questions about routines, discipline, emotional support. "Zara seems happy here," Angela noted. "Bonded with both of you." "She is happy," Trenton insisted. "We've built a stable, loving home. What concerns me is the speed. You and Miss Thornton have been together less than a year, already living together, and Zara is calling her Mama. That's fast attachment for a child who's already experienced maternal abandonment." Blair spoke up. "Ms. Brooks, I understand your concern, but I didn't push that relationship. Zara chose it. And yes, we moved quickly, but everything feels right. I'm committed to her long term. Are you? Because successful relationships are hard. Yours has additional pressures, racial differences, class differences, blended family dynamics. What happens if you and Mr. Hayes break up? Zara loses another mother figure. We're not breaking up. You can't guarantee that. And I have to consider what's best for Zara, which might mean slowing down this living situation or giving her mother more consistent time." The interview left them shaken. Angela also visited Lauren's apartment, a sleek one-bedroom in downtown Seattle. Lauren presented well, had character references from colleagues, a stable job at a marketing firm. The hearing was set for 6 weeks later. Trenton hired a family lawyer, Simone Crawford, a fierce black woman recommended by Nina, who was blunt about their chances. The good news, Trenton has been the primary parent for years. The bad news, Lauren's not seeking full custody, just more time. And Blair's presence is complicating things, not because of who she is, but because it's another change in Zara's life. Judges favor stability. "So what do we do?" Blair asked. "You prepare to step back if necessary. If the judge feels Blair's presence is disruptive, they might order modified living arrangements. And you," Simone looked at Trenton, "need to decide if you're willing to risk custody to keep this relationship." The words hung heavy. That night, Trenton and Blair had the hardest conversation of their relationship. "If it comes down to choosing between me and keeping Zara," Blair said quietly, "you choose her, always." "Blair, I mean it. She's your daughter. She comes first. If me being here threatens your custody, I'll move out. We can still be together, just not living together. That's not fair to you. Life isn't fair, but Zara is innocent. She doesn't deserve to lose her dad because we fell in love." Trenton pulled her close. "How did I get so lucky to find someone who loves my daughter as much as I do? I don't know. Wrong table at a restaurant?" Blair smiled through tears. The hearing was emotional. Lauren's lawyer painted Blair as disruptive, a billionaire who'd swept in and bought her way into Zara's life. They questioned the stability of Trenton and Blair's relationship, suggested that Zara needed more time with her birth mother. Simone countered with evidence. Teachers' testimonials about Zara's improvement, Gloria and Nina's statements about the positive home environment, even Zara's pediatrician noting better emotional health. The judge, an older white woman named Judge Patricia Hendricks, asked to speak with Zara privately. The wait was agony. When Judge Hendricks returned, her expression was neutral. "I've reviewed all evidence and spoken with Zara. Here's my ruling. Primary custody remains with Mr. Hayes. However, Ms. Erickson will receive increased visitation, 1 weekend per month and alternating holidays. This allows Zara to maintain relationship with her mother while preserving the stable home she has with her father." Relief flooded Trenton's face. Lauren looked disappointed but didn't protest. However, Judge Hendricks continued, looking at Blair, "Ms. Thornton, I caution you. Zara is vulnerable. If this relationship ends, it will devastate her. Make sure you're in this for the long haul before taking on a parental role." "I am, Your Honor. Completely." "Then I wish you all the best." Court adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Trenton held Blair and cried, "We won. We actually won. We didn't win. We just didn't lose. And now Lauren gets to be in Zara's life more, which is actually good for Zara. Always seeing the best in people. That's why I love you. I love you too. Now let's go home and tell Zara everything's okay." How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. 1 year after Blair sat at the wrong table in Marcello's, she planned something special. She reserved table 14, the right one this time, in the private dining room where she was supposed to meet investors that fateful day. But instead of investors, she invited Trenton and Zara. "What's this about?" Trenton asked as they were seated at the familiar table. "An anniversary, of sorts." Zara, now 5 and growing more talkative every day, bounced in her chair. "Is this where you met Daddy?" "Sort of. I sat at the wrong table, your table, and met you both. Best mistake I ever made." Over lunch, Blair reflected on the year, the challenges they'd faced, judgment from both their worlds, the custody battle, learning to merge such different lives, but also the joys, Zara's laughter, family dinners, the community center thriving, falling asleep next to Trenton every night. She'd scaled back at Thornton Global, promoting a co-CEO to share responsibilities. Lucas had been right. She didn't have to do everything herself. The company was thriving, and she had time to actually live. After dessert, Blair stood. "I have something to say. A year ago, I was running late, stressed, focused on a business deal I can't even remember now. I sat at your table by mistake, and Zara called me a princess." Zara giggled at the memory. "That moment changed my life. You both taught me that success without connection is empty, that love doesn't care about bank accounts or skin color or where you come from, that family is built, not bought." Blair knelt beside Zara first. "Sweetheart, I'm not your birth mom, but I love you like you're mine. Would it be okay if I officially became your mama? Through adoption?" Zara's eyes went wide. "Really? You'd be my real mama?" "I'd be honored to be your mama, if you want that." "Yes, yes, yes, yes." Zara launched herself into Blair's arms. Then Blair turned to Trenton, still on one knee, and pulled out a ring. "Trenton Hayes, you pulled me out of my isolated, lonely world and showed me what it means to live with purpose and love. You challenged me to be better, to see beyond my privilege, to understand that wealth is meaningless without heart. You've given me Zara, a family, a reason to be more than just a CEO." Trenton was crying openly now. "I know our worlds are different. I know loving me comes with complications, media scrutiny, social judgment, navigating racial and class dynamics most couples don't face. But I also know that I want to face every challenge with you. I want to raise Zara together. I want to build more community centers and family traditions and a life that matters. Will you marry me?" "Yes," Trenton managed through tears. "God, yes." The ring slid on his finger. Simple platinum band, elegant but not ostentatious. Blair stood, and he pulled her into a kiss while Zara cheered. They married 3 months later at the community center, the space they'd built together. The wedding was a beautiful blend of their worlds. Blair's business colleagues alongside Trenton's students and neighbors, white and black guests mixing naturally, wealth and working class standing side by side. Gloria cried throughout the ceremony. Nina was maid of honor. Lucas was best man, having become genuine friends with Trenton. Even Lauren came, bringing her new boyfriend, having settled into a positive co-parenting rhythm. The ceremony was officiated by the principal of Maple Elementary, who spoke about Blair and Trenton's love story. They came from different worlds, she from boardrooms and billions, he from classrooms and community, but they met in the middle, built something neither could have created alone. Their love challenges us to see past surface differences to the humanity underneath. As they exchanged vows, Blair promised to honor Trenton's community and values. Trenton promised to support Blair's ambitions while keeping her grounded. They both promised to raise Zara with love, honesty, and the understanding that family transcends biology. The reception was joyful. Kids from the community center performing, speeches that made everyone laugh and cry, dancing that went late into the night. At one point, Blair found herself standing with Gloria, watching Trenton dance with Zara. "Thank you for giving him a chance," Gloria said, "for seeing past the differences. Thank you for raising a man who could love someone like me. Workaholic, privileged, clueless about real life." Gloria hugged her. "You're not clueless anymore. You learned. That's what matters." 3 years later, Blair stood in the same Marcello's, waiting for a business lunch. This time, she double-checked the table number before sitting. At table 14, the right one, she met with a young entrepreneur seeking investment. After the meeting, she walked past the other table 14 in the main dining room and smiled at the memory. She'd sat at the wrong table and found the right life. Her phone buzzed. A text from Trenton with a photo. Zara and their new baby son, Marcus, named after Nina's husband who'd become like a brother to Trenton, covered in paint from an art project at the community center. "Your family is destroying the art room. Come save us?" Blair laughed and typed back, "On my way, and you're cleaning it up, not me. That's why I married you. Delegation skills." She drove to Seward Park, to the house they'd made a home, to the family she'd found by sitting at the wrong table. Thornton Global was still thriving, now focused on technology that served communities rather than just generated profit. The community center had expanded to 3 locations across South Seattle. Blair had started a foundation focused on education equity, with Trenton as co-director. But her greatest achievement wasn't on any Forbes list. It was walking through her front door to find Trenton trying to wrangle 2 paint-covered kids while Gloria laughed from the sofa. It was family dinners, where they debated everything from politics to the best pizza toppings. It was Zara's art on every wall and Marcus's toys scattered everywhere and the beautiful chaos of a life filled with love. Blair had built a billion-dollar company through ruthless focus and isolation. She'd built a family through vulnerability, humility, and the courage to love across every barrier society erected. The family was worth infinitely more. As she helped clean paint off Marcus's face while Trenton wrestled Zara into the bath, Blair thought about that stressed woman who'd rushed into Marcello's a few years ago. She'd been looking for an investor. She'd found everything she didn't know she needed. And it all started with sitting at the wrong table. Sometimes the best things in life come from the mistakes we make while running toward things that don't actually matter. Blair had run toward a business deal and stumbled into love, family, purpose, and a life worth living. Best, wrong, table, ever.